I have a theory. It's not just my theory. The boys at Death and Co. put out a whole book about it called the Cocktail Codex. A lot of people have worked on this theory. I sort of have my own version of it, which is the theory of the seven cocktails, that there are really only seven cocktails in the world. And
Wow.
once you understand that, you can sort of decipher menus, but you can also start to create your own cocktails. What I imagine is an ingredient, swapping it in, swapping, something else out
Else
or
out.
splitting bases. So yeah, if you walked up to me for a while, I would say, I have 100 pocket cocktails that I could make at any point.
Wow. That's
At this
impressive.
point, I have the seven cocktails and I can adjust accordingly.
And what is the basis for these different 7 cocktails?
Sure. Let's get into it. So there's the old fashioned, which is sugar, booze, and bitters. There's the Martini Manhattan Martinez, which is booze, bitters, and some sort of fortified wine or like a liqueur. There's the sour, which is sugar, sour, and booze. There's the daisy, which instead of the sugar, you're sweetening that with liqueur. Then there's the highball or the fizz that has some bubbles in it. That's a lot of drinks, the Jack and Cokes and the
Yeah.
gin and tonics. There's the flip, which I like to say anything that comes from a platypus is a flip, is the flip cocktail. Any kind of milk, any kind of egg base, that's your flip. And then there's the punch, which is I think one that a lot like the cocktail codex guys don't put the punch in there, but the punch started the whole thing. The punch predates the cocktail by hundreds of years.
Yeah.
And that one is great because it comes with a rhyme, which is one of sour, two of sweet, three of strong, four of weak, and a little spice to make it all nice. And that's actually also the template. One part sour, two parts sweet, three parts strong, four parts weak, and then a little spice, something like a tea, something like a bitters. And if you really break down a lot of tiki cocktails, the punch is a tiki cocktail.
Welcome to Thursday Thursdays at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. My name is Jesse Ott, the host of this podcast, which is all about beverage innovation. I talk with innovation pioneers from agriculture to glass. Thank you for listening, and be sure to subscribe to be notified of all new episodes. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Thursday Thursdays. I am Jesse Ott, and I have an awesome guest today. I was a guest on his podcast last Saturday night, 6 p.m. PST, 9 p.m. here in the Orlando area. And it's Dr. Cush of Dr. Cush's Exotic Drinks, which is on YouTube at Dr. Cush. Welcome, Dr. Cush.
Thank you, Jesse. It's so good to see you again.
And he's a bartender extraordinaire. He's hosted Mixed Cocktail Hour on the Hungry Channel, as well as head of beverage at Circa 93, and rated best LA bartender in LA. So that's pretty
By
impressive.
Fernet Branca. Thank you, Fernet.
Yeah, so we've got quite the mixologist back here. I know he doesn't like to use that word so much, but he's really, really good at it. And obviously, you can see his heart and soul is right around the tiki, the theme and drinks. And so we're going to be mixing up some fun cocktails today. And I'm super pumped. I'm super pumped to have you here, and we're going to learn all about Dr. Cush today.
Can't wait, Jesse. Let's go.
Let's do it. So,
Let's go.
and he's got a super extra, I guess, glow today because he's about to go to Greece in a couple of days. So he's almost on vacation mode to one of the most beautiful parts of the world. And I can't wait to hear about your trip when you get back.
100%. Yeah, I have a few rum bars that I got to hit while I'm there. So I'm dragging my wife around for an afternoon.
It would be kind of fun to do a live tasting with you.
Yeah, I think it would. It would be at 3 a.m. So I think that's a tough time to like wake people up. Like, hey, I'm drinking some booze. I know you're supposed to be sleeping, but watch me drink.
That'd be so fun, though. So where are you calling from? Where's your little studio at?
Yeah, so I am in the Valley in Los Angeles.
Okay.
This is just, it looks like a bar. It is a studio for sure. If I turn the cameras like an inch either way, it is definitely just a room. So this is my little slice of heaven, my little bar. In a studio in the Valley.
Oh, that's awesome. Are you originally from there?
No, I grew up in Phoenix, Arizona, a little pueblo just east of here, and I moved here. I moved to LA about 20, I forget how, like 20 something years ago,
Okay.
to be a comedian and a writer.
Nice.
Uh, I did that for a while, and then when that sort of, as it does, the industry, LA is undefeated. So as that sort of fizzled, I got a job working in a bar and realized that I like that a lot more. So I stuck here.
Oh, that's cool. Well, I think you're
Yeah.
either somebody that like just loves hospitality or it's not your thing. It's hard work and, being a bartender, you got to play a lot of roles, right? You got a
Yes.
team that you're working with back there with the cooks, the chefs, the bar backs, you got other bartenders, then you got to manage the flow of all the different consumers and all the different cocktails and if you're, at a high-end cocktail bar or if it's a mixology bar, those take time to make. They're not just, pouring
Yeah.
pouring it together.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think LA and New York have a specific extra thing there, which is managing actors goes because you find a lot of bartenders are actors on the side, so finding a way to sort of corral them too, makes. I'm not saying LA is a more difficult place, but it has a unique aspect to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
I've been to Newport Beach and that's it. I've not really
yeah.
I mean, I've been to Napa and I've been to San Fran, but I haven't spent
You
a whole
missed
lot of
us.
time in
You
yeah.
missed us on all sides. Yeah, probably
Yeah.
good for you.
What the audience listening can't see is that Kush and I planned our outfits the exact same, so we both have black t-shirts on.
That's the sign of hospitality. You probably have a pineapple somewhere in your vicinity, and you have a lot of black shirts. That's how you know you're in hospitality.
Yeah, actually, it's my wife loves pineapples because we learned.
Yeah,
I didn't know this, but when we went to Cuba over Thanksgiving on a cruise a while back, and they have pineapples all over their town square, and they were explaining to us that pineapple is hospitality, and I didn't know that. And it's funny, my wife and her cousin were with us, and they both had matchy kind of pineapple outfits on, and it was like, oh, that is really cool because her cousin's in
yeah.
hospitality.
That's the thing. Yeah, the pineapple as hospitality. I learned about that somewhat recently as well. I thought that was so cool because
Yeah.
who doesn't love a pineapple? I don't know one person that doesn't like at least enjoy a little pineapple.
Yeah, and it's good for you. It
Yeah,
has so many
yeah, for
benefits for
sure.
you.
Yeah.
I know it's got sugar in it, but there's a lot of other really good things.
Please. There's sugar in everything. Everything great has sugar in it. That's all
Yeah,
there is to it. If
that's
it's
all there
great, it
is
has
to it.
sugar in it. Yeah.
That is awesome. So you started bartending out in LA and that was sort of
Yep.
kind of the end of it. And then I guess you kind of dove, instead of bartending and then doing a gig here and there, you just dove in head first and just started mixing cocktails at that point.
I started off at a place called The Room Hollywood. I was doing a comedy show right around the corner and some guys that were we were doing a like an improv, but it was like an improv show, but it was mean-spirited and it was like Survivor. Basically, we were kicking people off and I was the heel. I was the bad guy. A lot of people I still think a lot of people see me as that sort of heel guy. But as that started wrapping up, I was actually at that point I was working in a law office. I was the systems analyst. I did a lot of like fixing lawyers' computers. The case I was working on wrapped up. I wanted to jump off of a bridge because I did not like fixing lawyers' computers. And these guys were like, "Hey, we're looking for a bar back. You want to come bar back?" And I said, "I had no idea if I want a bar back." So I, went in for a couple nights, fell in love with it. I still hang out with those guys. Bar family is bar family. It's connected forever. And from there, there were a bunch of people that worked there that were doing this cool stuff, this cool like making. I didn't know what a gimlet was when I started working at I had no idea what the drink that I drank every night was a Malibu and pineapple because I just didn't know anything about it. Went to the bookstore. Let's see, do I have it right here? I got my very first bartender book, The Playboy Bartender Guy by Thomas Mario. I started thumbing through. This is the first one I ever bought. I started thumbing through it. I found some really cool stuff. We were limited
Yeah.
by what ingredients we had because this is a the room Hollywood is a dive. It's a Hollywood dive, but it's still a dive. So I was learning everything I could there. The bar group that I was working with opened up a bar downtown right in the middle of like LA catching the New York bar craze. And I went over there to work and I was able to sort of request ingredients and I could finish the rest of Mario's book and then started buying new books and fell in love with it from there, you know?
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. What do you think you like about it the most? Is it the actual art of being creative with the different cocktails, or is it hospitality, or is it kind of a combination of both?
Yeah, I love working by myself creating the cocktails. Like I love the time that I can spend in the back. I am notoriously early for everything, like hours early for everything. So I would get into work 2, 3 hours before my shift started so that I could work on stuff, but it wasn't just creating the drinks, it was, explaining the drinks. Hey, this like, bring the passion, like, "Oh my gosh, you guys gotta try this thing. It's so cool," and then being able to hand somebody a drink, after the explanation, after, they see what kind of work I put into it, and, that, for some reason, always made the drinks taste better when you know what goes into it.
Yeah.
So yes, I like creating by myself, and then I like sharing, with other people. So I suppose it's sort of in between those two.
So are you one of those bartenders that if I came into the bar or someone came into the bar and you were just like, okay, are you a vodka, gin, or do you like sweet and sour? Do you like,
Right.
sweet? Do you like what, and then just make something up for them?
Yeah, so I have a theory. It's not just my theory. The boys at Death and Co. put out a whole book about it called the Cocktail Codex. A lot of people have worked on this theory. I sort of have my own version of it, which is the theory of the seven cocktails. That there are really only seven cocktails in the world, and
Wow.
once you understand that, you can sort of decipher menus, but you can also start to create your own cocktails. So yeah, you come in, you say, "Hey, I like it." I have the most difficult customer in the world, and I'm married to her. My wife is amazing, she's wonderful, but has no idea how to order a cocktail without, like, the feeling of it. So she'll say, like, "Oh, I'm really feeling rum tonight, but I want it to be sort of, like, ethereal, and if I could have it sort of like, less grounded than your other cocktails." I'm like, I don't know what any of that means. So I get to practice that a lot.
Okay.
Just like, I saw this really cute like jacket the other day, and I want that rum drink to sort of taste like that jacket. I don't know exactly, so I've gotten pretty good at it by just following the recipes for the seven cocktails and then taking what I imagine is an ingredient, swapping it in, swapping, something else out
Else
or
out.
splitting bases. So yeah, if you walked up to me for a while, I would say, I have 100 pocket cocktails that I could make at any point.
Wow. That's
At this
impressive.
point, I have the seven cocktails, and I can adjust accordingly.
And what is the basis for these different 7 cocktails?
Sure. Let's get into it. So there's the old fashioned, which is sugar, booze, and bitters. There's the Martini Manhattan Martinez, which is booze, bitters, and some sort of fortified wine or like a liqueur. There's the sour, which is yeah, sugar, sour, and booze. There's the daisy, which instead of the sugar, you're sweetening that with liqueur. Then there's the highball or the fizz that has some bubbles in it. That's a lot of drinks, the Jack and Cokes and the
Yeah.
gin and tonics. There's the flip, which I like to say anything that comes from a platypus is a flip. Is the flip cocktail? Any kind of milk, any kind of egg base, that's your flip. And then there's the punch, which is I think one that a lot like the cocktail codex guys don't put the punch in there, but the punch started the whole thing. The punch predates the cocktail by hundreds of years.
Yeah.
And that one is great because it comes with a rhyme, which is one of sour, two of sweet, three of strong, four of weak, and a little spice to make it all nice. And that's actually also the template. One part sour, two parts sweet, three parts strong, four parts weak, and then a little spice, something like a tea, something like a bitters. And if you really break down a lot of tiki cocktails, the punch is a tiki cocktail.
Yeah, that
I
makes
gave a
sense.
seminar at Tiki Oasis a few years ago, and we took a bunch of tiki cocktails and sort of redid them so that they follow exactly the 1 of sour, 2 of sweet, 3 of strong, 4 of weak. And I think for a lot of them, we were able to improve them because when you find that formula, there's a reason that that formula has stuck around for so long.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really cool. I didn't
Yeah.
realize there was such a science to it. That makes it so much easier.
Yes, this is not magic. We are not geniuses behind the some of it. I mean, listen, I know a lot of very smart bartenders. I'm just saying we are not geniuses. We are not insanely creative. A lot of the stuff that bartenders are doing that looks so cool is usually started by a chef. We just borrow that from the kitchen. So I think once you understand, it's sort of like in cooking. You understand the mother sauces, and then
Yep.
from there you can throw your stuff in there. There are really 7 mother cocktails, and after that, it's just a matter of swapping. All we
Swapping.
do is swap. So, you know, you mentioned that, Kush doesn't love the term mixologist because, yeah, I feel like the most important thing is to be a bar person. You are there for the experience. If you can do cool stuff, that adds to the experience.
Yeah.
But if you are a brick or if you are stone faced or somebody walks up and orders a vodka cranberry and you scowl at them, well, then you've missed 80% of the bar, the experience. You've missed
Yeah, and I definitely think, we have a quarterly review and I've had different panelists on over the years and one of the big words that it's not a big word, but one of the words that I use to describe, the culture of going into a restaurant, the addition of all the speakeasies and all the things is it's your experience.
yes.
We have a speakeasy down the street here in Lake Mary that unfortunately is now closed, but I I ordered a bathtub gin, and it came in a bathtub with foam
Yes.
and a little rubber ducky, and we
Yes.
giggled and giggled and
Yep.
laughed and laughed. I mean, those are things that are so important, with all the flashy social media stuff. I think that the hospitality game has to level up too. And that was my word for 2025. So experience was 2024 and 2025 was elevate because there's so much competition out there that you're going to have to elevate that experience, whether you're a bar, whether you're a brand, whatever it might be.
Yeah. Yeah, and,
Storytelling.
I think that, it's tough to get your name out in the world as a bar anyway. I mean, I know, you can have liquor.com rate you as one of the great bars and whatnot, and then you'll get some foot traffic, but the way that you're gonna get people in is by finding your regulars and having your regulars bring people in. That is the best way to do
Yep.
it. So, having that experience, hey, having your regular be like, "Hey, they got this drink, and you're not gonna believe it. It comes in a bathtub." Like that's the commercial right there. Bars don't do commercials. That's the commercial right there. So finding ways to yeah to elevate, but also to keep your regulars big and happy. If
Yep.
you elevate, if you keep adding elements, and suddenly it takes 20 minutes to get a drink, or you're catering to just new people.
Yeah. No,
So
100%.
that's I think that falls right into the experience.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. It's the cocktail culture is I don't know how you would rate it. I haven't been to London in a really long time. I don't know how you would rate it between the two or, Hong Kong or wherever, I'm sure you've traveled to different places. We went to Japan and, obviously hospitality and consumer behavior is not the same there as it is here because there's no trash cans for one.
Right.
Nobody's walking around with a 12-ounce, you know, Coke, pop, soda, coffee. You know what I mean? It's just different. The restaurants are small. You're 10 to maybe 20 people. You wait in line for an hour to eat, and you get a choice of beer, sake, wine, or not even really wine, beer, sake, or
Yeah.
highball. That's just a completely different experience. But what we did get to go to a couple of the cocktail bars, which I would say are at par or at level with anything I've been to.
Yeah, I have wasted many hours online watching Japanese people explain how to make a highball, the different bubbles per inch, and I mean, like, when the Japanese bartenders got a hold of what we were doing, they changed the game. I mean, they really watching a Japanese master bartender make a highball. It's two ingredients plus ice. To watch them fret over not having the right soda to match that exact whiskey with the type of. I mean, on the bar right now, I have Canada Dry. This is what I use. I don't have multiple sodas ready to go. I have multiple sodas. You can feel that passion in it. And so, yes, it's two ingredients, but watching them do it is
Yeah,
phenomenal.
it's an art.
I
Yeah.
highly recommend anybody that's got like 2 days to waste, just look up Japanese highball, and they'll walk you through it. And by the end, you won't have a regular highball again. You just can't. You can't go back.
I remember seeing, I don't know if it was social media, TV, whatever it was, but I remember there was a bartender that took a square ice cube and shook it to where it was a circle.
I love
That
that.
was really
It's so
impressive.
cool.
Yeah. I don't know how
Yeah,
they do
those
that.
fun tricks are spectacular, and it's part of the show. We don't have chefs out in front, flipping the set. I think that would be cool. We don't. That's not a real thing. Bartenders, though, we are. We're right there. You come
Right
in,
there.
you're paying for a seat at the bar to
Yep.
watch the show.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, 100%. So you went to downtown LA, and so now you're kind of
Yep.
able to expand your cocktail offerings and order different ingredients. What happens after that?
Uh, I those bars were those bars had a few issues. They had, it was tough hiring the right people.
Yeah.
It was tough with promotions and all that stuff. So first thing I did was I started hiring new staff. We started sort of jettisoning some older staffs, not some older staff, but some staff that had been there for a while. People that had either turned into full star tenders where they were rude to customers if they ordered something normal, or people that's, weren't interested. So I ended up hiring what I think is the greatest staff of 5 bartenders on earth. And I worked with
Nice.
those guys for 3 years probably, shaking with those guys. We had a couple come in and out, but we continued to go from there. Right before that, I actually went and worked with 3 of my best friends. They weren't my best friends then, they are now my best friends. We play Dungeons and Dragons every Sunday night now. We're old bartenders that don't go to
Nice.
bars, which ended up, it started off as a little bar out in Santa Monica called Bar Copa. And then midway through, we changed it into a tiki bar. And that's where I got my love for tiki. That bar, strangely enough, that bar started doing too well. And so the company that owned the building kicked us out so that they could continue on. They thought, oh, that they're doing so great, we'll kick them out and we'll put our guys in here and we'll do well. And that bar closed within 6 months. So
Yeah.
a really good way to remember that it isn't just the location. It is about, me and Curtis and Dee and
Yeah.
Naked, my very good friend Naked, really brought a life to that bar. So anyway, that closed. I went out. I did my whole thing with the association where I worked, brought in an amazing staff. And then they elevated me to, they opened up 2 new bars, the Continental Club and the Queensberry. And they elevated me up to head of beverage. So basically, I was creating cocktails, I was managing staff, so sort of taking what I did with the association, hiring and training staff, um, making sure that the cocktails were up to par, making sure everybody sort of knew what they were. Because again, in LA, I'm sure there's other things in other places, but we're dealing with a lot of actors that, God bless them. They didn't move out to LA to become bartenders. They moved out to LA because they want to be actors, and the bartending helped them along the way. And I don't fault them for that at all, but my passion was in the bartending. So yeah, we got everybody sort of up to speed. And then what happened, Jesse?
COVID.
March 2020, March
Ugh.
14th, 2020, all the bars, we were the last bars open in downtown LA, but COVID hit and I went into a deep depression. I was teaching classes at all these bars 5 nights a week. I had a bunch of people that loved my classes that were regulars. They would come into every class. I don't know what they were learning after about the first 3, but they come to every class. And I was sitting around in a bath robe, and I said, "Well, I have, we thought from March to June, everything." They were like, "It's gonna this COVID thing might go till June." So I was like, "Ah, what am I gonna do for 3 months?" I started drawing. Turns out I have no ability to draw. So a friend of mine, somebody that come to my classes was like, "Hey, you should just do your classes online." So I got a phone camera. I set up this. You can still go see my very first classes. I've never taken them down off YouTube. So if you just go search my very first classes, they are horrible. They are shot. You can barely tell it's me by how blurry they are. They are. The lighting was insane. You can see it's just a table that I've put in front of a wall. They were rough. They were very rough. But I started doing that, and I struck a chord with some people. And now I have a group that shows up 3 nights a week to watch my show. I don't know how I did this, but I have the nicest, most loyal, most like funniest group of people that show up 3 nights a week to watch my show.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's crazy. I literally no idea. I hired a bar back, Kyle. He was walking dogs. I said, "Hey, buddy, I'm looking for a new person to come work for me." Hired him off the street, and now he lives here. And I have a little bar back who's everybody's favorite person. He's odd. Kyle is odd. Kyle Tender. Kyle Helperton, his real name, Kyle Helperton. But yeah, we just sort of created a little culture around this whole thing. The idea is not that I'm teaching you how to make drinks because there are a bajillion books with recipes.
Right.
The idea is that we're a community.
Yeah.
We're a local bar that's online.
That's really cool. I like
Did
that.
I feel like I answered 1,000 questions in that one. I feel like maybe I went too far.
No, so in these classes, then do people buy ingredients and make cocktails with you?
No, for the most
Or
part, they don't buy I mean, a lot of them now have built up their bars if they've been with me long enough. The Greens certainly do. My Bon, who's been with me for forever, certainly they have bars at their place. It took me a while to realize that I don't think people are tuning in to see what drink I'm making. I think they're tuning in to be part of the bar for that night, to see their friends and chat, to hang out. I'm goofy. I will often let weird moments in my life slip that I probably shouldn't be telling people. So I feel like there's a little voyeurism into like, what's this idiot gonna do tonight? What's this cocktail buffoon going to get up to tonight? I make a lot of mistakes. I admit when I make mistakes, things fall over. My audio almost never works. So,
I know the
you
feeling.
know, yeah. I did not get into this to be an audio technician, but I've had to quickly learn how to be an audio technician. So yeah, no, people for the most part don't. If they have it, they're very excited and they'll say, "Oh my gosh, I have everything for this one. I'm going to make it." But I usually decide what cocktail I'm doing about 2 hours before the class starts, and then normally people don't have enough time,
Yeah.
so they show up to sort of hang out, and if they think the cocktail looks great, and if I give it a good review, maybe they'll go out and buy the ingredients. But for the most part, it's a hangout.
Yeah,
It's a
it's a
chat room.
community, and I love that. And I
It's a
think
community.
that's another important word.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, huge.
I interviewed a restaurateur, very successful restaurateur a while back, and he was mentioning that that community sense of community was spot on because the restaurants that he's now building is less chain focused and more neighborhood focused. And I think that's really powerful, especially with AI coming and all the noise. I think that it's important to have that safe space where people can come and just hang out, get to know each other, all the things.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. I mean, you can put into Chat GPT, these are the 5 ingredients that I have, make me a cocktail, and they'll spit out 5 cocktails. So just having a show where I'm explaining how to make a cocktail isn't that interesting or sustainable, but building a community
Yep.
with wonderful people is, community. We are a social species. We will always need community. And I think that's one of the reasons that I fell so deeply in love with bars, because people from all over the place, people that I would never see in normal life, they come to the watering hole to drink, and you can't hate somebody if you're sharing a drink with them.
Yeah. No, I agree. Do you ever miss it?
Yes, I do. I have some plans on going back in a limited capacity. I think at this point, I'm 43 years old. My knees hurt.
Yeah.
Basically, all my bones hurt at this
Yeah.
point. And so standing for that long and running and being in the weeds like that seems like an absolute nightmare. My sleep schedule was
Yeah.
done. It was just decimated.
Yeah.
I like to wake up early. So going back to the bars, to just to bartend seems like that would be a poor health choice for me.
Yeah.
But there's been some great opportunities. I've helped a few other bars open, which is nice. I stay there for a couple weeks while I train staff, and I get to see that. I get the sort of the hit from it.
That seems
I have some
perfect.
fun opportunities coming up to just teach classes,
Yeah.
which is my favorite part about it. But yes, I do miss there are aspects. I miss my friends.
Yeah.
I miss all my bartender friends. I miss my regular friends. But if I could just do this, where I have my wonderful community and I get to make stuff by myself, and I have a really nice foot pad back here
Yep.
that my feet don't hurt. I would keep doing this.
Yeah. No, I think it's great. I think there's a lot of opportunities for that. You could even do staff training from there too.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, I could see where restaurants and bars would want to go to Dr. Kush to help them write their menus, their drink
You guys can
menus.
find me at kushtender.com. Find me over there. If you guys are looking for me, I am not hard to find.
No, that
Nobody's knocking
seems,
on my door. Nobody's knocking down my door yet, but hopefully soon.
yeah, I think that's right up your alley. And I love the
Yeah.
fact that you like to teach. That's so important.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to like I'm passionate. And
Yeah.
like if I keep all this passion in, I'm gonna explode sometimes. So sometimes I
You
needs
need an
to get out.
outlet.
Like I am very
Yeah.
excited. Yeah, I need an outlet.
Yeah, that's really
I'm like a
cool.
dog. I need to be walked sometimes.
No, that's funny.
Yeah.
But I get it, you gotta have an
Yep.
outlet for that energy for sure.
Yeah.
And it's not really a sense of belonging, but it's a sense of being part of a community.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, the community. I didn't realize how important that was until my community built up around me. I just happened to be the place that they showed up. These are all
Yeah,
great people, and if they'd met somewhere else, they probably would have communed there. But they met around me, and I love my community. I can't even tell you like how much my
that's amazing.
community means to me.
That's great. I'm happy to hear that. That's
Yeah.
wonderful. Well, should we dig in and roll up our sleeves and
Yeah.
make a cocktail or two?
I love that idea.
Okay,
Yes.
let's
Yeah.
roll. What are we doing?
Cool. Well, as a bar forward person, as a person that's the a face of a bar, I get asked all the time what my favorite cocktail is. Make me something. What's your favorite cocktail? And every year I try and beat it. Every year I try and make something better. But every year I come back to my favorite cocktail being the Hemingway Daiquiri. This is a fantastic version of a daiquiri. It falls probably closer into the daisy category because the
Okay.
sweetener we're putting in here isn't just simple sugar. It's not non-alcoholic. It is going to be maraschino liqueur. So it's got a little bit more complexity than normal. But this is Ernest Hemingway's daiquiri. There you go. You found it.
Found it.
There was some
Found it.
questions.
Pat's
Yeah,
Liquor.
this
Thank you,
stuff.
Pat's.
Yes, this stuff is phenomenal.
I've
It has
never had it.
so I don't recommend drinking it by itself. By itself, it's awful. It's
Okay.
disgusting. It's gross. It's really tough. It's made of these things called Maraska cherries, and they are from Croatia. And
Oh.
I think even by themselves, just eating the cherries by themselves, I can't imagine they're any good. But they make this liqueur out of it. It has this amazing bitterness to it, but it's also very sweet. So it just adds a ton of depth to anything.
Hmm.
If you are planning on following my 7 cocktails, uh, building blocks, anytime you see simple syrup in a cocktail, add maraschino liqueur, and you're going to be right there. So we're going to start over here with a grapefruit. I'm just going to get the juice out of the grapefruit. We only need 3/4 of an ounce, and now that I'm thinking about it, I don't think you guys needed to watch me squeeze a grapefruit online, so I probably could have done this beforehand.
No, you're
So
fine.
we're gonna get about 3/4 of an ounce of grapefruit going in here. Let's see. Do I got juicy grapefruit? Oh yeah. We only need half of the grapefruit. That's great. I always try and preach cheapest ingredients first because if you make a mistake, we
True.
don't mind throwing out cheap stuff, but we do if you crack an egg into a Louis the 13th because you for some reason are an idiot and are deciding to make a Louis sour and now you have eggshell in there. You got to throw away that Louis. You're in some trouble.
Okay. I am not using fresh
So yeah,
grapefruit, so I am
I love it.
using this.
alcohol-free amethyst spirits. It
Yeah,
is grapefruit basil. So
cool.
I'm making a slightly but the same
I love it.
cocktail.
So because this is a daiquiri and you still want to give it sort of that thickness, you're going to probably add a little bit more lime juice than I'm adding.
Okay.
So just maybe bring down that liqueur or that non-liquor liqueur, that mixer. So maybe do that at half an
Half?
ounce and then bump up your your lime juice to 3/4. That would be my thought. I've never tasted that stuff, so I can't give you an exact answer there.
Mm,
There we go. This is 3/4 of an ounce
okay, and now I need
right there.
3/4 of an ounce of.
So I would do half an ounce of your stuff.
Yeah, I did half an
So just
ounce
half an
of.
ounce. Yeah, I think I'm taking a guess at what it tastes like since I've never tasted. I would do half an ounce because then you'll have 1 full ounce of sweetener in there. You'll
Okay.
have 3/4 of a lime, plus we're adding a lot of rum to this.
Okay, so I'm doing 3/4 of lime.
3/4 lime, yeah. So this is how so this is a cocktail that's based on a Constante Constantino Ribialagua Vert cocktail. I don't know if have you ever heard of this guy?
Nope.
One of my favorite bartenders of all time. He was the king of the daiquiri in Cuba. He ran a little place called La Floridita, and he had on his back wall he had a ton of different daiquiris, maybe 8 different types of daiquiri. The story goes that Hemingway was walking by and had to pee, so he went into this bar, saw Constante like really shaking a daiquiri, and he's like, "Yeah, that sounds great. If you don't mind, I'm going to use your restroom." It came back out, and he turned to Constante and said, "I'd really like one of your daiquiris, but can you take out all the sugar and just double the rum?" Apparently, he was diabetic. So he thought that maybe he could get away with this by not putting sugar in there. So Constante made it, and it became the Hemingway daiquiri. So this is a technique of his for limes. Instead of cutting a lime right down the middle, we cut a little moon off of here, right there, and then we look inside and we see this.
Oh, yeah.
This right here it's a juice thief. That's the structure of the lime. We don't want that in there. So we're going to cut all of these out right here. So we just get these 4 pieces of lime like that. So we have a full moon, we have a waning gibbous, we have a waxing gibbous, and we have a little Cheshire cat. We have our 4 phases of the moon. And Constante knew, and most
Huh.
bartenders should know this at that point, that the inside of a lime doesn't taste that much like a lime. It tastes sour, it tastes like citric acid, but the outside of the lime really tastes like lime. That's what you assume a lime tastes like. So Constante for his limes wouldn't use a hand squeezer. He would squeeze all of his cocktails like this, right in
Okay,
here, just
well,
get all that juice out of there.
I
And
am doing
then
that right, but I did not cut the lime right. I gotta go get more
that's all
limes
right.
too.
That's all right. Honestly, it's fine.
It's
You're
fine.
losing a little
Okay.
juice, especially for this. It doesn't really matter.
Okay.
So then we're gonna drop our lime into the drink because those oils on the outside are what's gonna give us all of that big lime flavor.
All the limes?
I'm just gonna do. So for me, I'm gonna do the one small or two, the waxing gibbous, the waning gibbous, and then the little half one, and that should give me about half an ounce of juice. That means I'm gonna be left with our big full moon and this inside structure. So
Okay.
we can use that for something else.
Okay.
Right there. So those are our cheap ingredients. I don't know how much limes are where you are, but for me,
Ridiculous.
they're insane. It's insane to pay 75 cents for a lime.
Yeah.
It's great. We're actually growing a tree back at the house, a lime tree, because eventually I will become a millionaire selling limes, it
Yeah.
turns out. So that's what we got. Next, we're gonna be putting in our maraschino liqueur.
Okay.
Yeah, like I said, this stuff is great, but it's an invasive ingredient. If you put too much in here, your whole cocktail is going to
Overpowers
taste
it.
like that, and that is no good. But
Yeah.
the right amount, and you're in a good spot. I'm going to put half an ounce of some Luxardo maraschino liqueur in here. There we go. Need to get a new bottle. I just ran out. We've done it. We finally killed a bottle of maraschino liqueur, and then the rum. Now, a normal daiquiri, Jesse, you would know probably, has about 2 ounces of rum, right? That sounds about right. This one has 4 ounces of rum. That's why I love this drink so much. We're gonna put a full 4 ounces of rum. Now you can throw in whatever rum you like. Normally you want a white rum. I'm gonna be putting in Bacardi because this is probably closest to what Ernest was drinking down
Yeah,
in La
probably.
Floridita with Constante. So I'm going to put 4 ounces of a white Puerto Rican style rum.
I'm doing Pandemonium
Oh, great.
rum, the Selva Rey, which is, I thought if I'm going to buy interesting rum, I might as well make it really interesting, right?
Absolutely.
Bruno
Yeah.
Mars is
What's
rum.
great about what's that?
This is supposedly Bruno Mars's rum.
Oh, wow. Wow. I bet
Fate?
it dances. Yeah, super fancy. Yeah. Yeah, honestly, what's great, especially once you learn about the 7 cocktails, learning that what we put in there at first was the base. That's the grapefruit, the lime juice, and the maraschino. From there, if you want to switch out anything, it won't be the original cocktail, but there's a really good chance that it will work out with another spirit. So there's a great cocktail coming out of Smuggler's Cove that switches out grapefruit for ting, and they put tequila in there. But it's everything else is basically the same. Is really nice. Okay, we want to give this a shake. I am what many have described as an ice pervert. I love ice. I love nice clear ice. I created a style of making ice. These are a little frosty, but trust me, they're clear. To make my ice nice and clear, where I clarify from the bottom up as opposed
Nice.
from the top down. It's one of my very. If we start talking about ice, we're not going to stop talking about ice. So I'm going to go as quickly as I can with that. But we got these
Okay.
beautiful pieces of ice, and for the most part, almost always better to shake with a large cube of ice.
It is?
So
Oops.
almost always, because when you're shaking, the thing that you worry about most is overwatering, right? We want some water in there, but we want to have control over that water. When you
Okay.
put a bunch of little pieces, you're creating a lot of melting points, right? With
Hmm.
one big piece, you're giving the same cooling power, but with less melting points. So you can shake these for a little bit longer without having so much ice melt. It also, especially when we're putting lime bits in here, it's going to sort of break those lime bits up. It's going to help bring out a lot of those oils that we were talking about.
Well,
There we
I
go.
didn't do that for this one.
That's all right.
But
That's
now
fine.
I know.
Honestly,
I learned.
you do not have to be an ice pervert like I'm an ice pervert. I
But that's
do
what
think
makes a
that
good
ice
cocktail.
is. Yeah, there's just little things that,
Yeah.
my whole philosophy is if you can't, if you don't have all the ingredients of a drink, but you have most of them, try something else and you're still, at least you'll have a cocktail.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's better to have any cocktail than the perfect cocktail. So big ice is just one of those things that I love doing. So I always have big ice hanging around, big clear ice. Some of my favorite things. So we're going to give this a big shake. This is a daiquiri, so we can give this a real big shake. We're not worried about bruising a lot in here, especially if we have the big ice. We're not worried about overwatering. So we're going to give it a nice, healthy shake. Switch to shake cam.
Funny.
We do shake cam down here sometimes. Sometimes we go right in here. Hey, hello, shake
Hey.
cam.
That's so fun. How do you switch?
I have foot pedals. I have
Oh,
so I direct my entire show with my feet. So
that's
sometimes you'll see
cool.
me like shift weight, and it's because I got to go from this camera to this camera. Those are the 2 furthest away. And then
Gotcha.
this is just a close up of this one. And then this one I have hidden right here. So
That
it's
must
right
have
here
taken you
behind.
so long to figure out.
Yes, it took me longer than it should have, but I did finally get it. And now, if my computer breaks, there's no way that I'm ever getting any of this back. It's going to be a completely new show because I can't redo any of this. All right, we're going to serve this one up.
Oh.
I know this is a Hemingway daiquiri, but this is how Hemingway would have drank it. This is a cocktail glass that we call a Marie Antoinette. It is designed after Marie Antoinette's breast. This is just a little booby cup. So we're going to go ahead and pour this guy right in here. It's
know.
nice and frosty.
What kind of
One thing that you can do to improve your cocktails instantly is to just put your glass in the freezer for even just during the time that you're making the cocktail. If you forget to put glasses in the freezer, put it in the freezer right as you start your cocktail and pull it out, especially when you're serving a drink like this. This is the coldest it's ever going to be. And then it's going to start because we don't have any ice in there. So nothing's helping it melt. So if you have a nice frosty glass, then you'll keep it frosty for a little bit. It's going to add a little bit of texture as well. And when the cold hits your lips, you're sort of in a good spot.
Yeah.
This is it. This
Okay.
is still to this day, my very favorite cocktail.
Cool.
I think it's well balanced. I have a Hemingway right here. This is my Hemingway a tiki mug. Big fan of Big Papa. So cheers. Let's see how we'll
Cheers,
see what you think.
Dr. Cush.
I should say it is 1:40 here. So, and I'm I have a 1:40 p.m. So I have a lot to do in my day, and this is 4 ounces of rum. We'll see how the rest of my day works out.
Well, you're in vacation mode. That is
That's
smooth.
right. Yeah.
I didn't know what to expect because I hadn't
Yep.
had the Luxardo before. It's just a hint, and it's really cold. And I obviously haven't tried this rum on its own, but it's very smooth,
Yeah.
very clean, and very well balanced.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really
Especially for 4
dig
ounces
it.
of rum.
Yeah,
That's a lot of people will do less grapefruit and more lime in order to go with what Constante would have made. But Hemingway would have, I mean, there's no way he didn't want more grapefruit, which has less, I don't know if it has less sugar. It's just a little less sweet than a lime. So I bump up that grapefruit, bump up that rum to what Hemingway would have drank. And yeah, it's also a drink that you can order at a lot of bars.
yeah,
You walk into a lot of bars, you're like, hey, I want a paper plane. They say, oh, we don't carry no Nino. If your favorite drink becomes a paper plane, you're in a lot of trouble because you can't order it every place. Most places will have a dusty bottle of maraschino liqueur somewhere in the back, and then just grapefruit, lime, and rum.
yeah. I think it's good with with the grapefruit basil, but I want to try it with the fresh grapefruit next time.
Yeah.
Because I think it'll
Yeah.
add an element, just a different flavor profile to it.
Have you ever gone onto the website Kindred Cocktails? So
No.
it's a huge database of people that put in their cocktails. So whenever you're searching for a cocktail, you put it in. But if you go on now, you have created a brand new cocktail. So get on to Kindred Cocktail, write exactly what you did with all of your ingredients, and now you have a cocktail. Now that is your cocktail.
Oh.
Just because you didn't have the right ingredients means that you have created something new, which means that now you have a cocktail to your name. You can even, you put it in, I have cocktails on Kindred Cocktails. It's a fabulous website. Some of the cocktails are god awful, but some of
Right.
them are really interesting, and it's all user submitted. So,
Wow.
there's no way to patent a cocktail.
Yeah.
I know that Gosling's has tried. I don't know if they succeeded. I know that Pussers has tried with the painkiller, but for the most part, you
Yeah.
can't copyright a cocktail. So get on to Kindred
That's
Cocktails and at least get your
that
name on
sounds
that
like
one.
that sounds like so much fun. Twisted Root is one of or Twisted Path is one of my brands. He ex-CIA guy. I hadn't had too many gimlets, but he's got a cilantro vodka and a gin
Mm.
that makes
Mm.
one of the best gimlets I've ever had.
Yeah.
Just that alone was amazing.
It's so simple. You follow the recipe for a gimlet and you switch out one thing.
Yep.
Brand new cocktail. That's how it works.
Yeah.
This is not rocket science. This is hardly even brain surgery. This is bartending. This is mixing. This is putting one liquid into another liquid. And it really is about the passion that you bring to it. And if you have your own cocktail, I have a signature drink. It's on the internet. It's on Kindred Cocktails. It's here I am. Ta-da.
That's cool.
It's
That's
just a lot
really
of fun.
fun.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. Yeah.
You mentioned the cost of limes, and I think when we talked at one point, you had a recipe that could give you shelf-stable
Yes.
limes. Is that something that you can share with the audience?
Absolutely. So it's not my recipe. I've adjusted some of it, but a bunch of us cocktail nerds, there was a guy named Nickel Morris. Nickel Morris was working out in Kentucky, and just like a lot of bars, you run into cost problems. Booze stays stable forever, but limes don't. All your juices don't, and limes started going up. So
Yeah.
Nickel said, I'm going to take, his name might be Nick, but I think he goes by Nickel. So I'm going to call him Nickel. He can call me Kush and we'll be easy. So Nickel said, basically, there has to be a new way to make lime juice, to make something that is a little bit more stable than these limes. We're throwing out lime juice every night. It's just a huge waste of limes,
Huge waste.
huge waste of money. So he took a concept that's been around in bartending forever, it's been around in cooking forever, called Oleo Saccharum, which is where you put sugar and you basically press it into the oils or into the skin of different citrus. And different fruits and everything. And it starts to pull out, starts to macerate everything in there, and it pulls out all those oils. So it goes from a solid of the granulated sugar, and it turns into the sugar oil. And he thought, well, what if instead of sugar, what if I did this with citric acid? And he did it, and he created something called oleo citrate. Now, nickel was great. He did a cool thing. He took that oleo citrate and he added some water to it to make that lime juice, and then he would take the limes from the juice and he would squeeze that in. So you'd get this really fresh sort of lime juice tasting thing, but it also had some lime juice. But it would last him for a month instead of a week. Then the bar that lit a little fire under all of us bar geeks, and we all started to see if we could find a way to take the juice completely out of it. So we all started working on this thing called pseudo juice. So it's basically sugar, citric acid, malic acid. There are calculators all over the place. Steve the bartender, if you don't know Steve the bartender, an amazing YouTube bartender, has a super easy calculator. All you do is put in how much of your lime peel you've pulled off, and then it'll tell you how much citric acid, how much malic acid, in some cases, how much sucritic acid you want to put in there, how much sugar, how much salt, and how much water you're going to put in there. Basically, I put mine into vacuum bags, so it squeezes everything together and it pulls out all that liquid. Dump that into a blender, blend that up in some water, and you've created a shelf stable. Now, I make it a 175 at a time, 1.75 liters at a time. I've never had mine go bad. That doesn't mean that it'll last for forever, but I've had some last for a year. Where
Wow.
I just keep it on my bar. It doesn't have to go in my refrigerator. It stays on my bar. It stays sharp. It stays fresh tasting. It tastes, we do a thing on my show called Battle Box, where I can't see what's in the box, and I do taste tests. And pseudo juice and fresh lime juice were almost the exact same thing. So yeah, Steve the bartender. Shout out to Steve, an Australian dude that's just making drinks. He's got a great calculator online for how to make pseudo juice. For a home bartender, game changing. I
Yeah.
don't have to go to the store every time I want to make a cocktail to go buy, to go get absolutely brutalized by these limes. These limes,
Yeah.
I mean, for 75 cents a piece for a lime, I can make a 175 out of 5 limes. That's all it takes. 5
Oh,
limes.
wow.
And it lasts, it has lasted me for up to a year, just not refrigerated in my bar. If you refrigerate it, it could go, maybe a decade. I don't know.
Can you put it in one of those like the plastic cocktail pours?
Absolutely. Yeah. I serve I just ran out of
okay.
pseudo lemon juice, but I just put it right in here. And then I put this off to the side of the bar. It just sits right there, and I pour it straight out. As long as it has a top on it, as long as it's not interacting with air, it'll
Oxygen?
last.
No.
Oxygen. Yeah, it'll last for a year.
Is it 1-to-1? So if I wanted 3/4 shot, it's 1-to-1?
1-to-1.
Okay.
1-to-1. Yeah, all of the I think Anders got onto this thing. I think Kevin Kos got onto this thing. See, the bartender was doing it. I was doing some experiments in my home. The only thing that I changed from Steve's is I usually add about a quarter more water. I think Steve the bartender's ratio for water is a little off. The lime juice, because it's a lot of citric acid, can become a little tart and a little cloying
Yeah.
if you don't add a little extra water. I just add about a quarter extra water. So whatever they tell you the water is, add an extra quarter to Steve the bartender's calculator, and you're in a good spot.
That's really good. I can't wait to make that. I'll have to report back in.
Yeah.
Because
you can join my Facebook group. My community has a Facebook group. It's Dr. Cush's Exotic After Hours, where they post everything that they're making.
Cool.
A really fun group, very supportive on Facebook, which isn't always the case on Facebook, but we're a closed community. So you have to let me know who there's a password. You have to let me know who my assistant is, and that's Kyle. So now you all know, and we'll let you right in, and then come in and say hi.
Yeah. I'm excited because I just went to fresh fruit market down the street, and it was 5 limes for $1, and I haven't seen that in the regular supermarkets in years.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's an amazing price. I would have walked out with my pockets full of limes.
Yeah.
I would look like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, but limes is wherever I can hold limes. Absolutely. But yeah, I don't, I've been a little lazy since we're leaving here soon. I've been a little lazy about keeping up on my pseudo juice, but I make it once every 2 months. And I
Yeah.
always have fresh lime juice. It tastes like fresh lime juice, but it's bar stable.
That's amazing.
Phenomenal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're gonna have to definitely. I have to do that, cause then I'll make more cocktails.
That's it. That's it. Make more cocktails. That's the whole point of this. Make
Yeah,
more cocktails.
yeah, I think I would. Now I gotta study the 7 cocktails so that I can think about how to interchange things, and then
Yep.
I think that'll
That's it.
help me flip my brain on when I do bring out all the bottles and all the mixers and things. I can swap 'em.
Yeah. Yeah, we were able to do that on my show. You showed me a few of your things. We took the
Yep.
Manhattan style, just swapped a few things in and found, I didn't have everything you had, but I made, my own version here. Once you understand how a cocktail is built, the world is your oyster. The cocktail world is your oyster. I don't
Yep.
want any of my information behind a wall. It should all be out there. I've done the research so that you can make the cocktails.
The other thing that made that cocktail absolutely amazing was it was the epilogue liqueur that we used, but it was also the El Guapo chicory
Yes.
pecan, which gave that Manhattan this really nutty finish to it that just made it so unique and beautiful. That is my favorite cocktail, I think, so far that
I
I've
love
had.
Yeah, finding out that bitters is just misnamed. Bitters aren't that there are some bitters, but bitters is just cocktail flavoring.
Yeah.
If you are looking to start making cocktails at your house, find a cocktail that you like and then add a couple drops of bitters that is new
Mm-hmm.
to you, and you've made a completely new cocktail. Run to Kindred Cocktails, put it in. That's your cocktail from now on. A lot of bartenders consider Kindred Cocktail as the website of note for cocktails.
I didn't know that. That's really
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
So, you want to jump over and talk a little bit about some mentors that you've had over the years?
Sure. Yeah. So to be totally honest, didn't I had a couple guys that worked with me in the bars that were a little bit more advanced than I was when I started. So I always liked that. A guy named Kyle Simone, rest in peace to Kyle Simone. There was guys like Chad LeBlanc, who was great. A number of really fun. George Garcia is great. I know he's doing all kinds of stuff with tequila at this point. These guys that I worked with, but I am very self-taught. I am very much from books. I have. I mean, again, if I turned the thing a little bit, you would see that I have a library of cocktail books back here. So my role models are guys like Dave Arnold. Dave Arnold, the mad scientist of cocktails. He has, if you're looking to buy one book, it's not a recipe book. There are other great recipe books. It is a technique book. It
Mm.
is called Liquid Intelligence. My goodness. Dave Arnold, Liquid Intelligence. He's with Booker and Dax. He just opened up a new bar that I got a chance to go to in New York called Bar Contra. Spectacular. I think he is phenomenal. Jeffrey Beachbum Barry, who owns Latitude 29 in New Orleans, wrote all the books on tiki. He went, he was a tiki archaeologist, basically
Oh,
going
cool.
to these old tiki bars, interviewing these old tiki guys. Famously, tiki is incredibly secretive about their recipes, but he was able to sort of get a lot of these recipes out to restart the tiki revolution that I think that we're in right now. I mean, clearly, I have to think we're in here, otherwise this was a huge mistake.
Well, there's a big tiki place in Dallas. I don't know if you ever get to Dallas, but that would be a good place to go. And what's interesting about them is I called on them I was selling a gelato as a mixer for cocktails. And they're like, yeah, we don't use dairy anymore in any of our cocktails. We only use coconut milk.
That honestly, tiki is the last great frontier for cocktails. That's where the real interesting mixology is happening. Because there's so many ingredients, because they're building punches, sour, sweet,
Yeah.
strong, weak, and spice, you're expected to have, there's a lot that you can sort of mix around with. So you can find, I mean, ube, which I haven't been to a bar recently where they don't have an ube cocktail on there. That started in the tiki realm.
Is that Monin? Ube?
Well, so ube is a potato.
Yeah.
Ube,
It's
yeah.
one of
So
my-
I'm sure Monin has one. I'm sure Giffard has one. I'm sure they all have one now. I know Savage Kitchen, another great YouTube channel. They have their own Savage Kitchens ube. But ube started, and now every place does an ube situation. So because there's so much room to play within a punch, there's so much more that you can switch in and out.
Yeah.
So tiki really is, if you're looking for innovative cocktails, it's got to be tiki. There are still Double Chicken Please out in New York is doing really fun things with non-tiki cocktails. Their whole thing is like they make cocktails that taste like food. They have a cold pizza cocktail. Does shockingly enough taste just like cold pizza.
Oh,
Probably
my.
my top 5 favorite food is cold
Really?
pizza. Oh yeah, please. Pizza the next day. Sometimes I will order a second pizza just to put in the refrigerator. So there's a lot of places that are still doing it, but every tiki bar is doing it. Every tiki bar is finding a new interesting little mix to throw in there. So I got to give it up to Jeffrey Beach Bumberry for bringing back tiki, for giving the cocktail buffoons like me a handle on these old tiki drinks that I would have had to figure out on my own. My one of my favorite bartenders, Constante Ribilagua Vert. We talked about him earlier. That's reading all about his stuff. Yeah, my influences all came from books. I am very self-taught. The bar company that I worked for, God bless them, they were great. They wanted to run clubs. I wanted to run a bar program.
Yeah.
So we didn't get a lot of, if I wanted to be innovative, I had to innovate. So yeah, I am fully coming in from books. So I think those are my two big, like those are the guys that if I really met them in life, I would lose my mind. Like people would be like, why are you freaking out about this skinny little dude in his lab coat? I'm like, that is Dave Arnold. You don't know that is Dave Arnold. That's Dave Arnold. Dave Arnold. It's weird, like when you get niche into things, how
Yeah.
your heroes become
Yeah.
weird. But Dave Arnold, Jeffrey Beach Bumberry with his amazing beard, the Cates, Martin Cate, they owned a great bar in San Francisco, Smuggler's Cove. I think those guys are doing good stuff. They wrote an amazing cocktail book. I feel like I'm leaving a ton of people out, but yeah, those are the big 3 that I can think of, but those big
Okay.
2 specifically. Yeah.
And is there any additional resources besides the books of these guys that you use, whether it
Yeah,
be
absolutely.
podcasts or?
Go to
Yep.
their bars. Davey Wonderich. I can't believe I forgot about say Davey Wonderich. Davey Wonderich. Davey Wonderich is one of the greatest cocktail historians of all time.
Oh,
If you
cool.
ever wonder why something is called what it is, Davey Wonderich. I call him Davey Wonder on the show. He has an amazing podcast called
Okay.
Life Behind Bars. He also he wrote
That's a good one.
all over there. He wrote Imbibe. He wrote the Oxford Spirits and Cocktail, the big reference book.
Yeah.
Davey Wonder is phenomenal. Life Behind Bars
Okay.
changed my life. I listened to that podcast. I think I've listened to it 3 or 4 times all the way through. There might be 300 episodes. I feel like I've listened to all of them at
Oh,
least
that's
3 times. So
awesome.
yeah, just like dudes that like that they just got into it. They were just so excited.
Yeah.
Who opened up never mind, we can get into bartenders, but those are the 3 guys that I really learned most of my stuff from.
And in terms of, pain points, from your standpoint,
Yeah.
Being back behind the bar and trying to manage the different brands, the suppliers, the things, this, that, the distributor relationships, the opening of an account for a new brand to be brought into the location. Is that still an issue, or is that still a major pain point?
I have no sponsors for this show. Nobody sponsors this show. I would love a sponsor. Somebody wants to sponsor me, send me your stuff. If I like it, I will do it. But no, mine comes from my own taste. So yeah, I used to have to, when I was the director of Beverage for the downtown bars. Yeah, you're tasting stuff. I got to make sure that this is on the menu. This is for me. If I don't like a product, myself and Roses. Do you know Roses? These guys, I keep a bottle back here just so that I can remind everybody what Roses is.
Yeah.
These guys hate me. These guys are not fans of mine because I do not care for their grenadine, and I will let that be known. I'm not interested. Like if I like something, I like it, and I will tell you about it. If I don't like something, I will tell you about it. There have been a number of brands that we do. Should we start a fight? I think that Proper 12 is a garbage product. I really think that Irish whiskey is disgusting. And if the guys from Proper 12 would like to come on my show and talk to me about it, happy to do it. But no, I have no loyalty. What's great about being independent, I am funded by, well, I'm funded 100% by my community. And so my loyalty is to my community. And I don't want to have them, I don't want Proper 12 to come to me and say, hey, you gotta, here's some stuff. You gotta tell people that you like it. You lose authenticity instantly
Yeah.
like that. Why would we tune back into Kush? So I've been sent a lot of great stuff that I'll tell you all about. Do I have any bottles? Oh yeah, these guys. But Magellan. Have you tried Magellan gin? An iris flavored gin? Spectacular. I would have never found it. They found me on online, sent me this bottle. I opened it up, tasted it. It's great.
Oh,
It's
that's
great.
great. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
So yeah, for me, being a small, little independent thing, I have no loyalties.
Yeah, I guess I was kind of referring back to the pain points of when you were in the bar, but
Oh yeah,
maybe that doesn't, it's so different. You mean you've been out of that area
I've
of
been
the
out of it
world
for 5 years. Yeah.
for a minute that
I feel like maybe I've just cut that little section out of my life. I just lobotomized that little
yeah,
part of my brain dealing with distributors and dealing with all of that. No, having full control here means that yes, I do have to go out and buy my own booze retail.
yep,
But it also means that
have full control.
if I say I like something, I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what is, we've seen the ebbs and flows, we've seen the turmoil on the tariffs here and there. From your perspective, what do you think about the industry and where it's headed? Is there any
Yeah.
kind of value points you want to put out there?
Yeah, I'm gonna paraphrase my friend Jesse Ott, who said on my show that it really is going to become experience based. It is going to become the stories behind this stuff. Booze is passion. We get passionate when we're drinking, so why not use that passion in all of it?
Yeah.
If a small if wants to tell me their story, I will listen to their story, and I almost guarantee you I will like your product better when I hear your story. So
Yep.
finding those little little distillers, finding people that are passionate, finding people that yell and move their hands around, like what I'm doing. When I get excited, my hand, like I can't keep them to my side. I look ridiculous like a fish. Finding those people that are excited about it. Don't think my theory is that nobody wants to drink what their parents drank, right? I mean, if we go through the generations, you look back on what your parents did, the 80s, the people in the 50s were deep into their Manhattans and martinis. You get into the 70s, we start getting into drugs and vodka, which is a horrible
Beer.
time. We get, yeah, beer, yeah, exactly. We get into the 90s, 2000s, we start to see the cocktail revolution. The new kids that are being raised by people my age are looking at that and being like, cocktails with your mustaches and your stomp clap hey music, like we're not going to do that. Booze kept the human race alive, finding ways to distill water, to ferment water. Beer was healthier to drink than a lot of water. Booze is deeply ingrained in humanity. It
Yep.
may go on a downslope for a while, but there will always be booze drinkers. Bars and barbers, they will be around whether
Yeah.
good times are good, times are bad. People keep drinking, hair keeps growing.
That's right.
So
Wine's been around for 8,000 years.
yeah, exactly. That's exactly it. Yeah, I mean, because
It's not
there's
going away.
something nice about breaking bread, about drinking wine with somebody.
Yeah.
Cleaning the water, killing all the bacteria in there by fermenting and distilling. I mean, there's a reason that humanity will continue to go back to booze. Yes, right now, maybe the social aspect of it is a little stunted. COVID certainly didn't help. The economy is certainly not helping, but we will find our way back. Those of us that are proselytizing the public house and talking to people that you wouldn't normally talk to
Yeah.
in a place where you can all meet and lose your mind a little bit. I don't recommend over drinking, but I recommend drinking a little bit to
To
find where.
relax.
So yeah, to find
Chill.
what your limit is.
Yeah.
I think that will come back. And in the meanwhile, I have removed myself from the physical one, and I have mine on the digital one. because I do think that there is a place for online communities that come together. I know for a fact that a lot of my people don't agree with me on everything. I know that they don't agree with each other on everything, but when they come together in my community to have a drink, everybody has a fun time. We
Yeah.
have a saying, which is say nice things. No matter what you're doing while you're in Dr. Cush's Exotic Drinks, say nice things. I don't want to hear the bad. I want to hear the good. So I do think that the community aspect of this will never go away.
That's so
And liquor's
awesome.
a big part of that. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
So, what do you do for fun when you're not working?
Oh gosh, other than drinking, you mean? Well, I was a very good juggler when I was a kid. I was accepted into clown college, so I still juggle. I
That's
was a
impressive.
comparative literature major. What's that?
That's impressive.
Yeah. Impressive I think that's a big word. That's carrying a lot. So I like to do that. I love video games. My wife is a phenomenal voice actor.
Oh,
She
cool.
is certainly the breadwinner of our thing. She is an amazing voice actor, and she's in a couple video games that I love playing. I love playing as my wife
Oh,
in video
that's
games. It
cool.
makes me super proud. Yeah, I like photography. I like to take pictures. I like, just weird tech. But yeah, I feel like I also really like just the concept of alcohol, not necessarily even drinking it.
Right.
Just I love the building of it. I know that that's kind of a cop out answer to that, but I think,
No.
juggling photography, yeah.
Yeah,
And
no,
video games with
you're
my wife's
creative.
voice. Yeah.
You're creative and you're a learner and you're an educator.
Yes. That's the idea. That's at least what we're trying.
So let me ask you something then. You said you're kind of into making your wife drinks and she's kind of elusive. Does she come down to the bar and sit at the bar and you guys just hang out?
Please, absolutely. Here, I'll show you real quick. Let me just bring it up for you. So I just redid all the lights in my bar.
I was wondering about these lights that light up. Is that real?
Yeah. This is so the all this stuff is all very real. I don't have any. There's
Cool.
nothing here. So this real quick. This is she loves it when we can come in here and do. One second, taking me a little bit to get there. No, Govi's good. We're gonna go into.
By
not
the way,
this
while
one.
he's looking that up, I'm just going to tell the audience that can't see, Dr. Cush has some of the best hair and beard I've ever seen.
Thank you.
He's got such nice, beautiful black hair, all slicked back. And then he's got this really pretty black beard with a little bit of white at the end. It's really nice.
Thank you. I know that I said barbers would stay forever. I learned how to cut my own hair. So now I just cut it more. I feel like I had to learn how to do one.
Wow, that's impressive.
One haircut. Can you hear the thunderstorm?
Thunder. Yeah.
So this is my wife's favorite thing. We come in here after a long day. I turn on our thunderstorm and we have a drink, and I love her to death, right? She's the producer on my show. So she's
Awesome.
always there. She works with Kyle, who's always there as well. But she'll come in and she'll say, I had this kind of day. It was, I'm feeling a little floaty. So can you give me something a little, like with a little weight on it? Let's try.
I love
Let's
her.
work on it.
I hope I get to meet her someday.
Really? Yeah, of course. I've
She
really
sounds
gotten
so
her
fun.
I've gotten her into Manhattans recently, which has been a huge help for me because I also like Manhattans. And so it's nice to be able to make the same drink for both of us. Turn these back on. There we go. Yeah, it's been nice to just to sit and have a Manhattan. But before that,
Yeah.
she was all over the place. I created a cocktail for her called the Blonde Cat when I first started doing the drinks. It was pickle juice, a Blanc vermouth, a cucumber vodka, and then it had Manchego as a garnish. And we still talk about the Blonde Cat because that was her favorite drink of all time. Did I lose you?
Oh, that's interesting. So the cocktails that you like, they kind of define you in some ways.
I agree. Yep, I agree. I am. I may seem like
Yeah,
a big beard and the whole thing, but in the end, I'm a sweetheart in the middle. I love a cosmopolitan, just like the rest of them. I would do well with the Sex and the City girls. Sit there, I'd gossip, drink my pink drink, and I'm ready to go.
Heck yeah, I love that show.
Yeah, me too.
Do we want to mix another cocktail or?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
You want to light one on fire for fun?
Yeah. Yeah. So this
Okay.
is my signature drink.
Okay. So we just had his favorite drink.
Yeah.
And now this
I
is
would
his
not say
signature
that
drink.
this is not my favorite drink. This is my signature drink. This is something that I worked on for a while. I have been back and forth with people. A number of people have tried to put this into a book without giving me credits. I have tried to stop all of that. So, listen, I don't mind. You want to put it into a book? Put it into a book. But remember, this is the Dr. Cush's Exotic Old Fashioned. So this is just an old fashioned that we light on fire. I'm going to go ahead and grab one sugar cube and then some Angostura bitters. Shout out to Amy Beer, who sponsors this bottle. I have all these people sponsor bottles back here.
Okay.
Amy Beer sponsors Angostura bitters on my show.
Okay.
We're going to put way more Angostura bitters in here than you normally would for a normal cocktail. Because we're lighting it on fire, we're going to burn some of it out. So I'm going to put about 10 dashes.
Am I doing orange or regular? And how much of simple syrup should I do? Because I'm not lighting mine on fire. I do not trust myself.
Yes. So if you're just making a normal one, I would put in half an ounce of simple syrup and then put in maybe 4 dashes of Angostura bitters. But I'm putting in way more than I should. I need it to flood just a little bit.
Do I want orange or regular?
Regular, yeah, because we're going to express the orange into there.
I might have done a little more than 2 or 3.
That's all right.
It kind of just came out. I mean,
no
I'm
problem with.
there.
Oh yeah. That's you're gonna have an Angostura. Angostura, that's an island product. That's from Trinidad and Tobago. That's a real tiki ingredient. Angostura bitters is.
It's cool.
So
should I get another glass?
No,
Okay.
please. Angostura. I got a friend, Nikki, who actually made my sign. She drinks Angostura straight. She goes to the store, she buys Angostura bitters, pops it open, pours it out, and just drinks it.
Oh,
she's maybe this tall. She might weigh 90 pounds. And is one of the toughest people I've ever met in my life. She is a Nikki. She does woodworking. She's a great singer. And yeah, she built my sign. I love Nikki. I think she still runs the Room Santa Monica.
So what are you smashing over there? The cube?
So, so just smashing the cube. Yeah. So now I have this paste, right? So this is Angostura and sugar paste, because what I want is for that to stick to the sides. So I'm going to grab this little orange right here. And like we said earlier with making the sugar oils and whatnot, there's a lot of oils that are on the outside of these citrus, and they're all flammable. So I'm going to get this pulled here. If you don't mind, I'm going to turn down my lights so that's you can see it. I'm going to disappear for a second, but I do think it's important that you guys not those ones. One second. Directing the whole show from where I am. Okay, we're going to turn down
That's cool.
This light. There we go. Okay. So we'll turn down that. Then we have our orange right here, and we're going to take our 2 toothpicks. You can do this if you want just by lighting the fire, but then you get butane in your cocktail, and that's not a great cocktail ingredient.
Yeah, that's not fun.
We're going to light this up, get these going, and then we're going to give this a little spin. This is
cool.
7% alcohol, so it will light up pretty darn quick. You can start to see the flames coming out of it. I'm going to give this a little shake. We're going to squeeze.
Cool.
We drop that in. So what we've done, so you'll squeeze afterwards. I think it's more important. If you're not lighting it on fire, it's a different cocktail. So we'll squeeze that orange afterwards.
Okay, after.
So what we've done is we have burnt out a lot of that neutral grain spirit that's just keeping those bitters alive. So now we're just left with this amazing smell that lives in here. I call it the fajita effect, because when I would make it in dark bars and you would squeeze and you would see that flame go up, you would have everybody, no matter what they were doing, they would stop and they'd say, I don't know what I was going to have, but I'll have that. Same thing in a Mexican restaurant. You're like, I'm going to have the burrito and the taco. And then the fajitas come out. You're like, screw that.
Yeah,
I'm having the fajitas. Those sound good. They look good. I'm ready for those. So after that, we just fill it with a little bit of whiskey. I'm just going to go ahead and put in 2 full ounces of an American bourbon called, have you ever heard this? It's kind of a small brand, Makers.
Yeah, I've only been there twice.
You've heard of it? All right, good. And then
it's a staple
grab
in my
house. Ice. Yeah. Listen, Makers should be a staple in every American's house. That's how this should work. I should have my stamp. Where did I put my stamp? I guess we won't stamp it. I have a stamp with my face on it somewhere, but it's oh, there it is, right here. This is my stamp right here.
Nice.
That's my logo. We'll just stamp our ice real quick before we put it into our drink. Let that melt it a little bit.
Okay.
And that way, as I'm drinking my drink, I can see myself looking at myself disapprovingly about drinking at 2 o'clock in the afternoon
What?
on a Tuesday.
You're good. This
Yeah.
is for a good cause.
Yeah. So there we go. That's my
Oh, wow,
stamp
that's
right
so
there.
cool.
Yeah. We'll drop that into the cocktail right there. Let's do it with my hands.
What should I
Give
be
that a little
doing at this
spin.
point?
Oh, yeah, 2 ounces of whiskey, and then you're gonna take your. You know what you can do? Do you have toothpicks?
Yes.
Can I show you how to express an orange? All right. Do you have toothpicks and a lighter?
Can I use an orange slice?
As long as you can take the skin off of it.
Like this?
Yes, that's great.
Okay.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, so this is kind of an advanced technique. So if you don't get it on the first time, just try it. Try again,
Okay.
etc. So we're gonna take our peel, and we just want to get the skin off of here, just the way that Jesse showed us there, like that. So we have a nice piece. Now we want to hold it like this. So normally an orange bends like this. Don't hold it like that. Hold it the opposite way. So twist it. Yeah, there we go. Yes, perfect. Now don't squeeze it yet, because once it's been squoze, it can never be squoze again. That's the end of the squeezing. We're gonna take our lighter, and we are going to light the ends of our toothpicks so that we have a really nice little flame. We're gonna take our orange, like we're supposed to hold it, and we're gonna rub it on those flames, just like this,
What?
nice and close. And then we're gonna squeeze as hard and fast as we can, so it looks like this. Ready? There we go.
Okay.
So when I was training bartenders, this was the hardest thing to teach them, is how to express that orange. But if you squeeze hard and fast, all those oils will come rushing out of it, and they will create a little flame.
My toothpicks
And what you're
aren't
adding
lighting.
to that,
They're not
yeah,
really lighting on
listen.
fire.
If you can't get the toothpicks, we might have a problem.
Smells nice.
Yeah, right? Like a campfire.
I will work on that.
Sammy Ross, in some of his cocktails, in his revolver, referred to this as gun smoke.
Yeah.
It smells like burnt oils. It smells like orange, but it really gives you a big olfactory experience of just having burnt going on. And it's a really fun way to add something to a cocktail, especially if you drop that orange right into it, because the outside of that orange, it's a little tough to tell on my camera, but you can see there's little burn marks right
Yeah.
around here. So you're adding just a little bit of fire into the cocktail.
That's
Really,
cool.
a really fun thing to add to a cocktail. If you ever get a chance to have a cocktail called the Revolver, it's rye whiskey, orange bitters, coffee liqueur, and then an expressed orange. Sammy Ross, another one of my heroes. If I can continue on that thread,
Heck yeah.
Sammy Ross, one of the best bar dudes of all time.
All right.
But yeah,
So,
it's great for smell. It's a garnish that adds something to the cocktail.
so am I adding the ice cube now, or do I shake?
Oh
mix
yeah,
it?
now's your ice time.
Now's my ice. Okay, I got the cube.
Drop
I
that
don't-
ice. You use simple, so I don't think you need as much stir for mine, because there was granulated sugar. I stirred a few times, but maybe 2 big stirs. Melt that ice a little bit, and then cheers. If you don't mind, I'd like to do a little toast.
Yeah, let's do it.
Come guess
So
me this
fun.
riddle. What beats pipe and fiddle? What's hotter than mustard and milder than cream? What best wets your whistle? What's clearer than crystal? What's sweeter than honey and stronger than steam? What can make the dumb talk? What can make the lame walk? The elixir of life and philosopher's stone. And what helped Mr. Brunel to dig the Thames Tunnel? Wasn't that whiskey from Elderness Sean?
Cheers.
Nothing like a good old fashioned. It's the basis for all cocktails: bitters, sugar, booze. Bitters to calm your stomach, sugar to wake you up, booze to cure your hangover. This is a morning drink, and that's when I choose to drink my old fashions.
Is it really?
The old fashioned. So my idea of what the where the cocktail came from, it's the first thing to tail the cock's crow. You drank straight whiskey the night before, so now you put a little bit of medicine, you put a little bit of sugar. You know, we still, like in breakfast, we still put sugar into everything. Muffins are basically just breakfast cake. Cereal is just sugar puffs. So it's that sugar to sort of get you awake and get you going. And then booze is a hangover cure. You know, a little bit of the hair of the dog that bit you. So the 3 things that go into the old fashioned, the bitters, the booze, and the sugar, supposed to be drank after the cry. It's supposed to tail the cock's crow, the cocktail.
I love it. That's great.
So if you aren't drinking before noon, you're doing it incorrect.
I'll remember that when I'm eating breakfast tomorrow. I'm going to switch it out.
Absolutely. Yeah. And Explain it to your wife. I explain it to my wife all the time. She is not caught on, but if your wife could call my wife, I feel like maybe we could get a coalition
Maybe
of old-fashioned
maybe
drinkers in the morning.
we should start another podcast.
Yes. Yes. Oh yeah. Yeah. Thirsty Thursday at 6 a.m. Yes, T. Yeah, I feel like, you got the branding. Let's go.
We got to meet for the morning cocktail.
Yes, that's when
Move
a
over
cocktail's
coffee.
supposed to be drank. First thing in the morning, you drink a cocktail, cure the hangover, get your day going. We got work to do.
Oh, that's fun. I wish I could have figured that out, but I'm going to work on that, Kush.
Yeah. Yeah, it takes a while. There's nobody, I've never seen anybody get it on their first try, but you now have the video of it, so you'll see how we're doing it.
Yep.
Quick and fast to get that big burst of flame. And then after that, you can work on the spinning inside the glass to light the glass on fire and then go from there. That's the Dr. Kush Old Fashioned. I know they still make it at the association. They've tried multiple times to rename it, but that is mine. I take great pride over that guy. I've stamped it. It's on Kindred Cocktails, so they can't take that away from me.
They can't take it away. That's great.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man, this has been so fun. We're gonna. I think what we need to do is do an educational series on cocktails.
Great.
And
I'm ready.
Okay, I think there's the 7 different ones. So maybe we just take one cocktail at a time and break it down. Maybe that'll actually educate me.
Yeah, love it. Yeah, I mean, once you understand what a daiquiri is, once you understand, what a sour is and how it's
right.
Most cocktail, it's a lot of cocktails, and then what the difference between that and a daisy is versus all the rest of it. Yeah, I think this is not hard. It just took a while to figure it out. For me, it took about 10 years to figure it out, and then once I figured it out, now I can explain it much easier.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of people, once they understand the basics behind it, it'll make them want to drink more cocktails and maybe even at home, and understanding
100%.
the science behind it. It's like understanding, like you said, a recipe, whether that be a sauce or whatever it may be, I think is important for people to understand the basics of it. Yeah, for sure.
It can all be broken down into its smallest parts and then built upon again. We are all standing on the shoulders of giants. Joseph Santini created the Brandy Crusta, and from there we have gone into all kinds of amazing sour cocktails. It's finding that first little spark, putting lemon into a cocktail, and now we're all standing on Joseph's shoulders.
Look, I'll tell you, I've been using lemon as an ingredient in cooking lately, and it's a game changer.
Absolutely.
It's so flavorful and so like it kind of just massages itself within the food, and I don't know that if it breaks it down in some way that just makes it so soft and so flavorful. And it doesn't the flavor isn't necessarily prominent in the end result. It's like a mixer.
Yeah. It's a mixer.
It's
That's
silky
exactly right. An emulsifier. Yeah.
Yeah. It's nice. It's like a rediscovered, because I love citrus. I put lime on almost everything. I love it so much. And I love lemon, and I love oranges. And so, I'm a citrus kind of person, and it sucks that it's so expensive.
You're sour and daisy type.
I'm a sour and daisy type, okay?
Sour and daisy type, yeah. Yeah.
Well, then I guess that's going to have to be the first foray.
I'm in. You let me know.
Okay. Well, that'll be really fun. Is there anything else that you want to talk about that we haven't mentioned yet on the show?
No, I do classes Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays, youtube.com @Dr. Kush. I have the greatest community of people that exist online where we just talk about cocktails. I think that's it. Maybe we'll do another one at some point about ice, because we can get real deep into ice, but that's for a
honestly,
whole another 2-hour podcast. Yeah.
But that's important. It's become very important. Yeah.
It's
100%.
the most important thing. The reason that America created cocktails is not because we were more brilliant or needed something else. It's because we invented the way to deliver ice to places. And ice is always included in cocktails.
Well, that goes back to the Southland Corporation in Dallas, Texas, which is in Oak Cliff, which created ice. It was an ice company, which then had convenience stores where farmers brought in milk and bread, which then created a convenience store all over the the country, which then they got over leveraged in the 80s and gas went crazy. And so 7-Eleven ended up buying them out. So Texas is a big starting point for ice.
We can never discount Texas's influence in cocktails because, yeah, you're right. Ice was a big part of that whole thing. We always talk about New York, we talk about New Orleans, but we don't talk about Texas enough because, yeah, the ice out there was huge.
Yeah. I was going to buy a property a long time ago and I'm a dreamer, and I'm a creative and visionary. And so I had a whole lot of plans for this place. So I ended up really researching the Southland Company, and it's a historical building and whatnot, and really got into the nerdy part of the history of it and how the Japanese came in and actually bought out Southland because it was over leveraged and over capitalized. But yeah, I mean, nobody knows that.
Yeah, I mean, no non-nerds know that, and you and I, seem to run on the nerd side. So I do love that
I'm
about
all
us.
in.
Yeah, all in. Why wouldn't you want to be a nerd? Why wouldn't you want to know a lot about a subject?
Yeah, it's just very interesting, and it's part of our culture. I learned about thoroughbreds and actually how bourbon was a part of that whole culture. Where in Kentucky they would ship barrels of whiskey down to Bourbon Street in Louisiana, and then they would break down their flats. They had flat bottom boats, and then they'd sell the wood, and then they'd buy horses, and they would take the horses back to Kentucky. And that's where the thoroughbreds came from, which is super interesting.
No kidding.
Yeah, I mean, it's fascinating. The amount of culture that bourbon has on our country is actually really surprising.
I mean, NASCAR started with Prohibition. That was all those cars that would be souped up to be able to go faster than the cops to get to Canada. It's crazy.
I didn't know that. That's funny.
Yeah. NASCAR started with Al Capone. They would throw a bunch of whiskey and they would say, "Listen, they can see us, but if they can't catch us, then we're gonna go." So they, get the cars going fastest, and that's how it started. Yeah. A lot of great American history is because for a little bit, that Volstead character in Minnesota said we couldn't drink, and after that, we got real creative and we got real innovative, and then we're still seeing all of that. All that residual.
It'd be really fun to talk about the history of our country and in terms of, how alcohol played a role in its history.
Yeah. I would be surprised if there wasn't a book. I mean, I know there's And a Bottle of Rum, which is the history of the world through rum. That's a really interesting book. But there's got to be the history of the world through bourbon, or the history of the United States through bourbon.
Yeah. There are some, but I think I don't know. I'll have to Michael Veach, he does a lot. He's too shy to come on my podcast, but that's what I've heard. But he's a real bourbon historian. But there's other things, like it was safer to drink rum than it was water because when we were,
of course,
pioneering our country, the water wasn't safe. So there's a lot of interesting, historical context to where we are today.
Humanity's only around because we learned about fermentation. I mean, we to take the yeast, kill everything else in the water, and drink that water. Yeah, there's a little alcohol in it, but there's no tuberculosis. Better to drink some alcohol than to drink straight tuberculosis.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Oh, I think I lost you there for a sec.
Well, it sounds like we have a lot to talk about, Dr. Kush, and
can't wait,
I think
Jesse,
that's going to be a lot
always.
of fun.
Good. Yeah, you let me know.
It's so
I'm
fun.
usually just behind this bar, so if you just call up, I'll probably be here.
Well, did you ever watch Drunk History?
Oh, yeah, of course. A lot of my comedy friends are on that show. Like, I'm like, oh, gosh, that's cool. Matt Jones is playing Abraham Lincoln. Oh, my gosh, how cool. Yeah.
Yeah,
I love that show.
Maybe we do our own version.
I would love to tell the story of Dawn Beach and Victor Bergeron as a drunk history thing, because they have one of the greatest rivalries and the beginnings of tiki and all that. I think that is a fascinating story. They hated each other, but they needed each other. It was amazing.
It's kind of like the McCoys and
Hatfields and the McCoys.
Hatfields and
100%. Hated each other, but needed each other.
Yeah. Well, that's funny. Okay. Well, we've got a lot of topics that we need to cover then.
Can't wait.
Okay.
You let me know.
All right, cool. Well, thank you so much for coming on. It's been a blast, and I've
Thank
really
you,
enjoyed
Jesse.
spending time with you on your podcast and now on mine. So
Yeah,
let's see what we can do together.
can't wait.
Okay, bye.
All right, bye.
It's produced by Fedora J Productions.